1.
Good evening and welcome everybody to the regular Gilbert Council meeting of June 8th, 2021. Call the meeting to order and I'll have the clerk call the roll.
Councillor Pulis?
Here.
Councillor Leone?
Here.
Councillor Heitzman? Here. Councillor Skenzich?
Here.
Mayor Oberstar?
Here.
Let the record show City Attorney Lindsay, Campground Manager Wendy Flanagan, Administrator Paulson, Deputy Clerk Goulin are all in attendance. Mayor?
Thank you. We have established a quorum. And could you all rise and help me open with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, councilors, between Friday and today, we set the agenda on Thursday or Friday, and we have some additions to approve, and that would be 5 of them. Approved to hire first responder. Number 2, request to hire seasonal public works laborer. 3, proposal for Sherwood Forest Campground shower house roof repair. 4, outside liquor permit for the dugout bar. And 5, check register 6/31/21 to 6/8/2021. Is it okay with the council? We'll add these to the agenda.
I'll move. I'll support.
Any more discussion? How about that check register? Can that be added, if I can add that into the consent agenda?
Yes,
I can put that, you know what I mean?
correct.
All right.
You can add that to the consent agenda.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, we have the consent agenda, and with the addition of that check register included in that bottom line from 6/3/21 to 6/8/21.
I'll move. I'll support.
Motion by Councillor Pulis, supported by Councillor Heitzman to approve the consent agenda. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay, we have public participation. Anybody in the audience tonight on Zoom, on phone, on internet, Zoom, have anything they wish to discuss with the council? One thing that's not established in that ordinance is resolution is the amount of time I wait. So it's up to me, I guess, huh? Again, anybody? Okay, public participation is now closed. Reports by mayor and council. Councillor Skenzich.
I've got 2 things, actually. I was wondering, I kind of touched with Sam, I think it was yesterday, I can't remember. He was going to try and solidify somebody to go and spray that lower ATV trail. I don't know if is Sam on? I don't see him on right now.
No, he was not going to be able to join us.
Yes,
Or if he
okay.
was able to, he was going to join late.
Okay.
We'll bring it up when he comes on.
Okay. The other thing I have is it was brought to my attention that the construction crew that's doing Iowa and Louisiana, lower Louisiana right now, are using our lower road as their go-to in between the two things. They've been running equipment up and down that road, dozers, and I'm trying to think of what else they said they personally saw. I think I don't remember a backhoe, but a roller I think they went down to. I guess I have a little bit of a concern with that. Rubber tire vehicles aren't so bad, but you know, a dozer with tracks can really rip up a roadway. So I don't know if we have something in there or if we just need to talk to them and tell them they can't do that. Otherwise, we'll be replacing that road shortly because it's going to tear it up.
I agree with you, Councillor Skinsich, on that, but I think is John on the, I wonder if they're able to go on a highway with them vehicles. Not that they're working on the highway.
Well, the way you would normally transport a vehicle like that would be to put it on a trailer and bring it to your site.
Okay.
And I get why they're doing that, but it's going to create a bad road down there that's not very old and in good condition right now.
If the council wishes, we can instruct our city engineer to,
Mr. Mayor?
yes,
Okay. You can hear me?
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware of this, but yeah, it's there. They had no business running a dozer or a roller down a paved road. I will check into it. You know, yes, you're right, loaders or dump trucks and things like that, but I will follow up. But if they got damage to the road, we'll look into it a lot more, but if they're gonna mobilize equipment, they don't even go on a state highway. They just don't go on any roads. You gotta load it on a low boy and get it to a different part of the job site. So I appreciate you bringing that to me. Wasn't aware, I'd never heard that occurring out on the job, so I will follow up.
Okay, thanks, John. Yeah, I was just made aware of it this last weekend, so I figured I'd bring it up.
Very good point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Heisman.
Kind of on that same theme, I'm wondering about the sidewalks on Lower Louisiana Avenue. They were left intact. I had walked the job site a little bit with Mr. Jamnick and Mr. Modiger. And I'm hoping to see a change order come forth on that to at least consider redoing those sidewalks while the rest of the work is being conducted down there. Otherwise, we're taking it part way and not doing it all the way. And I'm not in favor of that.
I agree with you. I discussed that with Mr. Jamnick a couple days ago, and I thought John said you were going to look at it today before the meeting. Did you?
Well, I thought, you know, the one, let's see, the one on south side of Lower Louisiana, it dead ends about halfway to the block. I mean, were you suggesting the sidewalks go extended all the way down to Sherwood Forest Drive? Or just replace where they are today?
Yes. And I say that because I know that it would be complicated to extend those sidewalks, particularly on the north side of Louisiana. To extend that one all the way down would be putting it not very far from the homeowner's front porch. And then the other one would have to, on the south side of Louisiana, would have to, well, that one would probably be a lot more doable, a lot more workable, especially if the grade, the hump in that road is going to be leveled out some so that it's not a cliffhanger as it transitions from Louisiana down to Sherwood Forest Drive.
Yeah, they were great working on that grade today, but there is no sidewalk on Sherwood Forest Drive. That's why I was just wondering, do we want to try to run it down to Sherwood Forest on both sides of the road?
Well, otherwise otherwise both of them end in someone's front yard, and that to me serves no purpose. If you're walking down the sidewalk and all of a sudden you get to a dead end, you have to cross somebody's yard to go anywhere. So it would make sense to extend it in my opinion.
I would just say I'm okay with exploring that, instructing John to check into that cost and coming back with a change order. If need
Yeah, we'll look, we want to make sure when it gets down to the intersection, we can meet the ADA requirements, but, the sidewalks being replaced on, I don't know, on the south side between Highway 37 and the alley. That's in the job to be replaced, and the aprons in the driveway on the north side of Lower Louisiana were being replaced, so it looks like it's about 100 feet plus maybe another 250 feet more of sidewalk to do on. Finish just replacing everything on Lower Louisiana, and then we'll look at how we can get it down to Sherwood Forest Drive. But all the driveways are being replaced with the project too, and even some of them being widened to match existing aprons down there too, so.
And my ambition to extend those sidewalks all the way down is just one man's opinion. I mean, if you have reasons or the current homeowners themselves, or I don't know, if there's reason to not extend them, that's one thing. But the sidewalks that are there are not great, and it would seem to me to be prudent to do them now. But
Okay, well.
thanks, John.
any objection by the council to proceed with that? Okay, John, you're okay? Okay?
Yeah. I got it, thank you.
Anything else, Councilor Heitzman? Councilor Leone?
Nothing at this time.
Okay, Councilor Pulis?
Just a couple things. One, I had a conversation with the county commissioner this week, or I think it was last week anyway. Offering to give Gilbert any forfeited properties for basically nothing if we wanted to take them. So that's something I'll put out there. If we have any that we know of or whatever. The other thing is I was able to observe the campground on a different issue or a different job that I was on at the time. And that place looked amazing. It was fully packed and everyone was behaving. So doing a good job out there. So I just want to say thanks.
Very good. Yeah. We'll have our clerk look into this, any land acquisition that's potential.
Councilor Pulis, was that were they waiting to see the results of the current land auction then?
I'm not sure. I just had a conversation with Keith
Okay, I'll give him a
on
call.
Monday or whatever. He said if we wanted those properties,
Yep.
that he would just give them to us.
Okay, I'll give him a call. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Good. All right, I want to thank you, Yvonne and Leo Skirbick for planting the flowers on Main Street again this year. And they also informed me that this might be their last year and they're looking for somebody to take over next year. I guess the city is looking for somebody to take over next year, and we wish we could have got somebody to go with them this year to get a head start on it. So, but Yvonne has told me that a couple of years in a row now already. So maybe things will change by next year. But I thank them for the nice flowers on Main Street and the city crew for placing out the flower pots. And MnDOT getting everything ready so we could do that this year. 15 or 16 days into our highway project this year, and we've moved to the other side today. So they've moved on the other end on the 3-block area down there. And they've got around July 1st to tie up everything up on Main Street, open it up for the parade. So 15 days was done, 16 days, and whatever we got left now, hopefully it'll get it, I guess they got enough time, June 8th. Yeah, that's 20 days or more. Should be able to get it all in. And then we're supposed to, according to John, tells me Louisiana Avenue, Iowa here, all the CDBG alleys are all supposed to get blacktop before the 4th of July. And also, John, those CDBG alleys that we changed the contour of the alley, they're concerned. I want to put it on the public video here that we've talked to you about it, that you will make sure that they have no hill to climb into their garage, because we may have lowered the alley, and we were down there through no fault of their own, that we assist in, if we have to go into their driveway a little bit more, to make it a gradual incline instead of a abrupt one. You're okay to do, right, everybody?
Well, some of those alleys, you still they gotta finish grading them, and they're gonna be paved, so they'll be, we made some grade adjustments, Sam and I, based on some drainage issues, but I don't think anything was any drastic changing from what it was before, but again, I'll take a look at it.
Well,
The alleys could be close to what they were before, and they're gonna be paved, so they still got 3-4 inches of blacktop that still need to go in them to bring them up closer to the driveways to the garages and things, so.
that's fine, but I'm just saying, just in case you have a council, okay, that, to make that, everything work for everybody down there, okay?
Thank you, we will, yes.
All right, I'll move on. And thanks everybody for being safe down there in the last 15 days, and hopefully continue on the next 15 days and have a good 4th. And we have one more meeting, the 22nd here. So yeah, things are looking right on schedule here. Counselors. Okay. Reports by city staff and commissions. City Attorney Ryan Lindsay is here tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no formal report. I do note that I've got an item listed under me, right of first refusal. My understanding is that relates to a conversation that had happened that occurred at the last meeting related to the school property, and some guarantees or some conversation with regard to some representations the school had made to the city. So I'm happy to answer those questions, or to kind of give just a general summary of some options that we may have available to us.
I think when my understanding of the conversation was, would it be in the best interest of the city to get something like that entertained between the city and the school or not? Or is everything still true, goal as is?
Mayor, I don't think it would I don't think it would be a bad thought if we're in conversations with the school to put something in place that would give the city some access to that property. I'm not sure what we'd want to do as a first right of refusal. What a first right of refusal would give us is the ability to go in and match any bona fide offer that the school may receive for that property. What we may want to do, if the school is interested in talking with us, we may want to see if they'd be interested in putting in place what's called a first option of purchase, which basically means that at any point, if they made the property available for sale, we could come and purchase it at a predetermined price just simply by giving notice without any further negotiation.
I don't want to talk about the sale, that word sale, because all the conversations I have, it was a gimme to the city. At the very least, all the land. That's what I understand, for the least amount legally binding to hand over, monetary wise.
And if the school, and I apologize, Mayor, I'm using that word sale fairly inartfully. We can capture the same concept of a right of first purchase, or first option of purchase, even if we're using a nominal consideration transfer. So $10, $1,
Well, hopefully they'll be here the next meeting, and maybe prior to that, you and Jim can set up a meeting or something so we can get that all cleared up at the next meeting as we review the surveys. Okay? I don't want it to blow this thing, get everybody upset and make, you know what I mean, blow this out of the water. I think everything is fine, but again, I understand, try to get it maybe more concrete. But sometimes somebody feels they're not getting trusted, they might just change their mind. And it could make matters worse. So I don't know. We're talking about two big entities here, city and a school. So it's a big issue. Not just two neighbors. Anything else? Questions for city attorney by the council? Okay. City engineer John Jamnik.
Just a little bit more update on the Mesabi bituminous part of the project. They've got most of the gravel in on Iowa, and they're working and getting the curb ready on lower Louisiana. And again, to be consistent with getting things, the next part they're going to be working on is in the upper Nebraska Avenue, New York Avenue alley. They do the sanitary and storm and water line in the upper alley, and then go up the north-south alley, or up the alley going up and down the hill between New York and Nebraska. That's is where the contractor is going to be moving the next phase of the project. There's a little bit of patchwork on Nebraska Avenue that would be patched as part of the restoration for the 4th of July week, though. Otherwise, they're going to be working in that alley.
And you and Jim are working on assessment policy to give to the council so we can, at some point very soon, have a assessment hearing with the people on French Road in Genoa and Nebraska Avenue, correct?
That assessment policy is being worked on between me and Attorney Lindsay.
Okay, but between you two, and then as soon as that's ready to bring forward to the council, then we can get that hearing scheduled.
That policy is the first thing we have to clean up, yes.
Okay.
And the other item I had was the televising outfit, Rapid Router, that you approved their quote at the last council meeting, scheduled to begin their work the week of June 14th. That's just an FYI. And then under my business, the change order number 1. This was something that we talked a couple meetings ago, and we put the change orders. I'm trying to find it in the agenda package, but last winter, the city had a couple water line breaks in its lower Indiana Avenue alley. So this estimate from Mesabi Bituminous is to replace about 200 feet of that water line. That's between Indiana Avenue and Dakota Avenue in the lower alley there. So just because that line's broken a couple times, we just thought it would be a good idea to include it as a change order with the project.
That's the $55,142.25.
Yes.
And that's
Okay.
done or not done, or to be done after the vote?
No, they would start this. They might even do this if this was approved tonight. They might consider doing this before going to the upper Nebraska alley. So they haven't started or done any of this work yet. No.
Okay.
This would be in the upper. This would be in the lower alley. It wouldn't be in the streets there.
All right, recommended by the city engineer to okay this change order. And this would be under the phase 2 project or some other water.
No, it'd be, yeah, no, this would be tied to the phase 2 project
Okay,
as a change order to Misabi Bituminous' contract.
yeah, recommend council go ahead and take care of it.
I'll second it.
Moved by Councilor Heitzman, supported by Councilor Leoni to approve the change order by Misabi Bituminous of the 2020-21 infrastructure project in the amount of $55,142.25 for a lower alley between Indiana and Dakota water line. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, John.
And that's all I had. Unless there's
Just some
any other
invoices here.
I think Jim's got those on the agenda, or,
Yes, yes, John, we have the 3 invoices that came on Friday or so. The water system improvement project, invoice number 6 in the amount of $2,379.30. That's for the water meter project. We have the 2020, 2021 infrastructure improvements project, number 13,856. That's invoice number 8 in the amount of $16,123.85. And we have Trunk Highway 37 Utilities, MnDOT Corridor Project, 15,212, invoice number 10 in the amount of $6,042.50.
Again, these are not change orders. These are all planned, scheduled in the plan. So, and they're jobs that are done already, so. We'll move to okay these.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilor Heitzman,
I'll second it.
second by Councilor Leoni to approve these invoices that were just read for the amount of $24,545.65. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Anything else, John?
nope, that's all, a couple of agenda items, though.
I have one I'm gonna bring up with you right now. Our addition is the proposal for Sherwood Forest Campground Shower House roof repair. Is that you or Sam?
Yeah, I got that, I think Sam got the quote on it, but I did review it. I can't find it in the agenda package here.
Yeah, John, this is what I did for the add-on. This is an add-on to the agenda. This is the email you'd sent me yesterday
Oh, okay.
with Mike McKeon Construction.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, it was forwarded. I think Sam must have requested the work. This is something we talked about last fall, when they did the other building.
Yep.
I think it's the same guy, so if it's in the project or the city's scope of work for 2021, we'd recommend re-roofing the,
We did the office last last fall, and this is the second phase of that. Right? We didn't get to the restrooms.
That is correct, Mayor.
So, okay, you're all saying okay to go with Mr. McKeon again? For $8,200 for restroom roofing?
yeah, that's what we'd recommend if we're gonna do the work project, yeah.
I'll move.
Motion by Counselor Pulis, supported by
Second it.
Counselor Leone to approve re-roofing of the Sherwood Forest Campground Shower House by Mike McKean Construction for the amount of $8,200. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Okay. Anybody got anything else they want to talk to John about? Okay, moving on. Chief here. We'll skip over. Public Works Operations Director Sam Modiger.
And Sam wasn't sure when he'd be able to join us, if he was able to join us, so he's not on. But I can speak to his items
Okay.
there, Mayor.
Go ahead.
In the packet, we have summer hire compensation advertising that was requested to be put on the agenda. And you can see there's three items that go with that. And then since that went out in the agenda, we did have a summer person, an applicant, which is why you have in your council ads a request to hire seasonal public works summer labor. So if we can talk about that summer seasonal employee all at once here, we can tie up all of these points. So the request came for the council to consider an increase to the public works summer seasonal employee hourly wage from $10.08 an hour, that's the current Minnesota minimum wage, to $15 an hour. Number two, if the wage increase is authorized, determine if this wage increase will be retro back to the current employee's start date. And number three, request authorization to advertise for one additional summer labor seasonal employee with wages determined above. Like I said, since we did that, put this together, we have had a candidate who applied, so.
We've had only one candidate or two candidates?
One.
One.
We hired one already.
Right.
So we have one applicant for one vacancy.
Is this second application in the framework of the first, one of the advertisements or not? Or do we need to re-advertise and include this in?
We advertised, the only thing that would be, we advertised again, because we only have the one. The only thing that would change is the starting wage. So to answer your question, this person applied in the window of our advertisement.
That's what was my question. And so we don't need to go out, we just need to hire.
That's Council Bush.
Yeah, right. And the amount is higher and then amount is determined yet. Okay. I put this on the agenda because I believe the one employee that we had started with has done an exceptional amount of work. Hard to explain here, the amount of work that has been done. And I know other towns are up to like the 1250 area. And I think everybody's headed for that 15 across country. And I think everything was before the second hire or position was even being filled. And I was putting this on the agenda to give this individual incentive or bonus for doing such a hard work to raise that at 15. And I don't see why, and Sam still needs another person. There's no doubt we need two people. And I don't see how we can have two different sets of salaries for these people. They got to be uniform, I'm pretty sure. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
For the same position, we should apply the wage equally across the board.
Right. And so I'm recommending the council to bump Kevin up some of the days started to 15. And since the window is by the clerk is okay to hire Mr. Jadry, Tyler Jadry, to start immediately for his city summer program. And both of them are summer employees, which is ending on what date?
It's after 67 shifts, I believe.
69. Well, that's my recommendation. And start Mr. Jadry, hire Mr. Jadry, and bump them both up to 15 retroactive.
Mayor, a question for Attorney Lindsay.
Okay?
Can we retro the first one back, or does that start upon council action? We had never discussed it prior, which is where my hangup may be.
Mayor, if I may, Mr. Paulson, I think the answer to the question is yes, we could retro it back. And essentially what we would be doing, it would be kind of like renegotiating a labor contract. We can always go back and retro back, and we would create that legal fiction that the position was always intended to be at that set rate. And so we could make up that difference and then continue forward at the new rate.
I'm pretty sure there's, correct me if I'm wrong, summer vacations going to be happening coming up through the summer.
Correct,
So we're going to be
yes.
shorthanded. And so they're going to be very valuable.
Yeah, yes, Mayor, if I may, there is no doubt in my mind that we need this second person. That's why we went forward, months ago asking if we could hire two if we had the opportunity.
Councilor Heitzman?
As progressive thinking as I am, I tend to agree with you about the minimum wage being raised. However, applying that same $15 an hour to the current employee and the prospective new employee, I think doesn't do justice to the value that the current employee, having already worked for the city for several summers, brings to the table a lot of value that's not inherent in the new hire. If there were a way to redefine his role as senior seasonal worker with that $15 an hour wage attached to it, and perhaps a $13.50 an hour for people coming in without experience, and bumping them up a dollar an hour per year served, or something along those lines, so that there's an added incentive to come back next year and perform admirably as this current employee has done. So if we could explore that a little bit, I'd kind of like to see that, because obviously his value is right now out of the gate a lot higher than a new employee's value.
Yeah. I understand where you're going from, but then again, I asked the attorney to speak about that at the beginning. I'll just counter with what I think. A 31-year heavy equipment operator working at $18 an hour, and they hire a new guy, he gets $18 an hour. All right? So he don't go back down to, the new high guy doesn't start at 7 or whatever. There's 18, if that's the logic I'm going to use on that. So. How's opposed?
I tend to agree with Heitzman there that there should be a difference between a seasonal employee who's just starting and someone that's put in the years as recognition, but that's just my thoughts.
If I may, and just to kind of speak to this conversation, I think all three options that have been put on the table can be viable if they're addressed appropriately. Councilor Heitzman's inquiry about creating a secondary position or redefining a position, that's an option. And then also, if we have a uniform policy that all first-year seasonal workers would receive X number of dollars, returning on their second year, they would receive X number of dollars. So long as our policy is applied equally amongst the employees that we bring in, then it is acceptable. So long as we put people who are similarly situated in the same position, we're okay.
Okay, to save a lot of time into developing a policy like that, okay? How about we compromise here and instead of going all the way up to 15, start them both at 1250 or 13. Still not good?
I think that does a disservice to our current employee who's obviously
I don't-
demonstrated
I don't think
value.
that person will mind, but, you know, you're talking about a lot of work, you get a lot of things in order here to get a policy, which we're not gonna adopt tonight, I guess. I mean, you're talking about a lot of steps in this policy, you know. Unless you want to say that in a motion, right?
Mayor, if I may, I think, well, there's a couple of options. I think the council could put a policy in place, and then we would return with a written policy by resolution for adoption at the next meeting, or we could set the wage to bring these folks on board, and then like we talked about earlier, we could always make the after the fact adjustment retro pay to the beginning of the work if need be. And so all of the options that have been put on the table are all viable options, and it's truly just a policy decision for the council to make.
Councilor Pulis.
I'm willing, I mean, if that's, like Heisman, like you said, one employee's been here longer than the other, that's the issue, but I'd be okay with making a motion to start them both out at the 1250. And we can look at it later down the road.
I'm willing to compromise there because I want to get this right and fair, okay? I understand the logic here. Again, there was no number 2 in mind, right? When this was brought up.
Right, and I'm not trying to be argumentative.
I don't
think that the policy change or even enacting a policy would be as complicated as we would need to make it. I think it could be fairly straightforward that the senior seasonal employee gets that $15 an hour, and new hirees are subject to $14 an hour, $13 an hour.
Tell you what, for sake of,
Crediting them for a $1.50 raise if they come back again next year.
I'm willing to compromise it without no debate. 1250 for them this year, and by next year we'll have a policy in hand to start. Maybe a jump up to 15 next year, or not, depending on what the policy says. If you got so many years in as a summertime helper, you get this, and if you're brand new as a summer helper, you get to start at the minimum wage.
Well, you've already verbalized that this $15 an hour is already on the table for our initial seasonal helper. And if you retract that, then, well, I'm not in favor of that either. I mean, it's already a public discussion that we're that close, and
Well,
we're pulling it back from you.
well, it's no different than the President of the United States wants $1 trillion and he has to negotiate and he comes back down to a couple billion. You know what I mean? That's the work of trying to work and together thing. So, or you want to go to 15 and 1350, or 15 and 1250? How's that? And I think we legally can still do that. You know, because of the seniority involved with the summer helper. Okay? Councilor Stanzich.
There's summer temporary help. I don't know if there's this real seniority that would go along with this. I mean, I'm not downplaying them. I did temporary summer help when I was going through college and such. Everybody got paid the same wage. This is what it was. There's no seniority based of anything, whether you were there for a year or 3 years or 10 years. So I guess I would support with the 1250, if we wanted to raise that up, I would be all right with that, but I can't see doing a two-stage kind of pay system for it.
I hear you, but Counselor Heitzman's saying, I've already put down 50, it's not fair to me to go back down at 1250. So let's just do 1550 and then be done with this thing. That's what they're, again. It's only for a couple weeks, 6 weeks.
I'd like to lobby one more time for that staged wage package. And it's based on trivial, but for the summer employee that comes back year after year after year, he brings value with him that a new summer employee doesn't bring with it. Doesn't know where the weed whackers are, doesn't know where the gas is kept for the lawnmower. All of those things that he doesn't need to be taught because he already knows. And that's where I think that the experienced seasonal employee has more value. And that's that.
Did I have a motion on the floor? Or no?
For the 1250, yeah.
1250, there's there a second on that?
I'll second it.
That's for both?
Yeah, right.
Any more discussion? Motion by Counselor Pulis, second by Counselor Skinsich, to up our seasonal hire from 1008 to 1250 for both hires, retroactive for the first one, right? That has been on here already, and then the second one, well, we haven't started, hired that one yet, but any second one, any afterwards is 1250 as well. More discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, say nay. Okay, roll call, I don't know if I hear 2 or 3. Counselor Skinsich,
Aye.
Counselor Leone,
Aye.
Mayor Oberstar, aye. Counselor Pulis.
Aye.
Opposed, Counselor Heitzman. Motion carries 4-1. Counselor Heitzman voting no. Okay, so let's get the new hire. I guess the window is okay to hire, or is everybody okay or not okay to hire the applicant?
I'll move. I'll support.
Motion by Counselor Pulis, supported by Counselor Heitzman to approve the applicant for hire of the second seasonal position for the Public Works, Mr. Tyler Jandry, pending successful completion of background check and completion of all required paperwork. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All cleared up there, Jim? Okay. Okay, Sue the boss, library director on.
I'm on. I'm here.
Okay, go ahead, Sue.
Okay, everything's going well. We just had our other board meeting. I'm going to announce that Sue Samardzija will be leaving the library. She's going to spend the summer up at the cabin. And I'm going to be posting for a library clerk. We're looking for air conditioners because my air conditioners are failing. I did approach our foundation and they will be responsible for getting 2 new window air conditioners. And summer reading has started and it's going very well. And it's a unique approach this year. with a lot of crafts and a lot of following directions. So you'll have to read and research, but only in a fun way. And everything's good. And that's all I have.
Very good, very good. Good report. Minutes I read were very good. Anybody, any questions for Sue about the council? Okay, you had, I think we talked about your concerns about has that been this, Jim or Sam, you guys been talking about that anymore?
The steps?
About when the highway
Oh.
department takes over on that side?
Yeah, I'm just gonna be picking your brains so that you can help me figure out how to address the foot traffic.
Yeah. So I thought last time we thought you, Sam and Jim were gonna get together and get that plan before they get there.
Oh, I guess.
Yes, sorry, Sue. Yes, we do plan on getting a plan before we get there.
Okay, that's fine. That's all I want to know. Okay, so it's in the works, okay?
Sounds great.
Okay, thanks, Sue. Campground Director Wendy Flanagan.
Yeah, hi, everybody. We had a great couple weeks. Memorial Weekend was very successful. Full, couple little incidents, nothing major, but everybody seemed to be having fun. And this coming weekend looks pretty full again. We've got four tent sites open is all. Otherwise, we're full. Jim gave me the go-ahead to go and buy some game items to have there at the campground. So I went out and got a couple cornhole games, 2 bocce ball sets, 2 volleyball sets, and 2 horseshoe sets. I did manage to get Doug one of the horseshoe courts so that that's ready to go. The others, they can play anywhere. But the horseshoes had to be measured out and dug. So that's all ready. And I think it's going to be very beneficial to the campground. I also understand that with that, it boosts our Good SAM rating to have those things in play.
Good.
So, yep, and I look forward to a really, really good summer.
Sounds good, very good, yeah. It's about time we get some of them games out there for them. Good idea. But you got both horseshoe pits set up now?
Just the one first. I dug the first one this weekend,
Yeah,
but I gotta measure out for the second one.
okay,
So,
all right.
and I'll have that in before this next weekend.
Okay.
So, yep.
Anybody got any questions for Wendy?
Oh, I have one. I was cleaning out the garage. I have a box with big dice. You throw it in a circle. Do you have that?
No, that would be awesome though.
I'll give it to you.
Great. That would be perfect.
Okay.
Very good, thank you. Thank you for all your work and keep up the good work. Thank you. Anyway, last meeting, we were told too that when the lights were out on that campground sign out at the front, has that been taken care of? The sign? Yeah, the one of the lights was out. I think Leo at the beginning of it, public participation, mentioned some kind of lights were out back there.
Yeah, I'll follow up with Sam on that.
Okay. And the signage, you guys took care of the signage? Wendy's concern last time was somebody went right by the campground road because there was no sign. They couldn't read that camping sign?
Nothing yet.
I'll follow up with that.
Okay, all right. Administrative Executive Clerk, Jim
Thank you, Mayor.
Paulson, Jim Paulson.
Thank you. Just a couple of things, and it's mainly just agenda stuff. So the audit continues, and I'll say that goes as well as any audit goes, I guess. And our Minnesota OSHA workplace consultation visit, we had that 10 days ago or so. That visit went really well. They were here for about 6 hours or so. We're waiting for the report to come back. But the couple of items that we need to take some action on are very doable, make a safer place for our employees. So that visit went real well. When I get that report, I'll share that with the council, of course. And then with all our projects starting and going on, we did have some communication issues with some of the contractors doing some work. We believe we've straightened that out. I did get a call and I went down to Lower Louisiana, take a look at what they were talking about, and I can certainly see why the citizens were not happy about not being notified when this construction started in that area. So we believe we've taken care of that now for the rest of the areas, and our expectations, I have no doubt, will be met. So
Very good, thank you. Yeah. Any questions for Jim? By council?
Just thanks for letting people know about that. And that created a lot of ripples in my neighborhood. Eliminating that for other people in the future is important. So thanks for handling that.
No other questions, Jim? Okay, old business, wastewater treatment plant update. Bye-bye. Nobody from Stantec or Ovivo or John, or who wants to speak on it? Tara or anybody on there? Jim?
yeah, nobody's on there to speak on this, Mayor. So the project continues. We are working with Avivo on some resolutions, hopefully some resolutions, at least some middle ground on where we are with the modules. So hope to have a better report at the next meeting.
All right. Minnesota Highway number 37 update. And plus we have the sidewalk to do what we reviewed last meeting was like $74,000 if we were gonna change the rest of the sidewalks. And we've come down to the broken sidewalks that are remaining that were not that bad in the eyes of the Minnesota Highway Department. But are bad or cracked, you know. And there's a lot of them left over that have, their life has been since 1991 without any cracks on them, but they're only 4 inches thick. They're not 6 inches like the rest of them. But there's like $6,370 worth of sidewalks yet to repair, to be fixed under our city cost. And I don't know how many of the sidewalks that go onto the road from somebody's steps, you know, to reach the highway. I don't know how many of them are in this amount of money here. I would hope they are top priority, you know what I mean? Oh, we're gonna do, nobody in the town's ever put their own sidewalk in, that I know of, in the boulevard. Nobody.
Mayor, you're talking about the lateral
Yeah.
sidewalk between the sidewalk piece between the city sidewalk and the curb,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
John,
that's-
maybe John knows if they're included in this?
That's never been a private project. That's always a city's product. That I know of. I never know of any homeowner has done that on their own. So
I did.
you don't have a sidewalk around you.
So, Mayor, so I'm not sure if those are in this additional sidewalk work or not, and Sam's not on, so maybe perhaps John Jamnick knows.
I would assume if it's being, it's being removed, it would be replaced. I don't know specifically where the 16 panels are, but
I know there's some that are not even there. They've never been there either, so. Another case of that extension of Louise, they're not there. They've never been there, but
well, yeah.
here we are. Again, we're doing a project. I don't like to say copying what we see without making it better. I think we should be making it always better than what was there. And because we're there, instead of going back again, get it all done. And
Mayor?
half measures really don't play well with me. So,
Mayor, I can follow up with John Madden, the project engineer from MnDOT, to determine where the 16 panels are and if they include those lateral sidewalks. And if they don't, I can work with Sam on getting a game plan together for those.
we have a sidewalk plan on our budget for 10 grand. If not, city crew we can instruct the city crew to do that. You know what I mean?
It's my guess, having walked around and spoke with this guy on our tour, that these 16 panels don't include those sidewalk extensions or whatever you want to call them, the lateral sidewalks.
Okay.
It's my guess that this does not include that.
My recommendation was to do these here, and if they don't include them, to put them under the Gilbert sidewalk program. And then have Sam do them now instead of come October. Have the city crew do them then. So,
Assuming that these 16 panels aren't including those sidewalks extensions.
yeah,
I would make a motion to approve these $6,370 with the understanding that our city will complete those sidewalk extensions from the curb to the city sidewalk in the semi-near future. There's a lot of irons in the city.
we don't put it on the list. What Sam is going to find somebody to do them, and maybe the same people. Okay, you okay them to do under the 10,000 that we budgeted for. You might get this thing worked out between the same people. They don't really do them.
Assuming that doesn't exceed that $10,000.
Well, no, I shouldn't.
It should.
No,
So let's at least qualify it that way.
no, you don't even put on a list. I'm telling you what. Okay, but I hear what your motion is.
I'll support.
Motion by Councillor Heitzman, supported by Councillor Pulis, to approve the $6,370 city portion payment of these 16 additional panels above and beyond the panels that MnDOT are going to do. And with the notion that the city crew or Sam will take care of the laterals under the city sidewalk program. In the foreseen future, this year, before July, hopefully. Right? Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Water electric meter projects. Jim? John?
All I have on that is the installations are going well, from what I understand. I don't have a number that are complete. Perhaps John does. But I believe we are on schedule, with the exception of the few folks who haven't been able to make appointments yet. And I do have an opt-out that came across my desk today. So we are working on the project. I think we're on schedule. but I don't have the number of meters that have been converted yet. John, do you have anything on that?
No, I don't know a number. Apologize. But yeah, I know they've been working, and I know they had a couple more guys coming in they went from a 2-person crew to a 4-person crew week or a week or a half ago. So I think they are making more progress.
That's all we need to know on that. Right? That's just FYI for us. Any questions by council over that? Councilor Skinsich.
I'm just gonna, I guess, throw this out there. Anybody watching that hasn't had it done, we had ours done at my house 2 weeks ago, and I think they were there. The guy was there for maybe 20 minutes. He was professional. There was no mess. There was nothing. It went very smoothly. So if you're nervous, don't be. It's very painless.
Very good. Thank you. All right. Lights on Shore Forest Drive. All right, it's been about 2 years in the making. I've asked, like, very safety conscious person, and I don't wish to see, I think our man has come here a number of times and talked to us about the importance of training our city employees for better safety procedures so they don't throw their back out of, and stuff like that. And that's been helpful. We have training sessions, safety training amongst employees, right there, Jim? Right. Yeah. And then around town, I've been also very vocal about uneven sidewalks, brush overhanging by private property and city property across sidewalks at the height where people might get their eyes poked out or whatever, and tripping. And also included is darkness. Now, Gilbert we don't have an Alcott Park to another safe area of a town for people to walk, do the walking exercises in. We do the perimeter of town and up and down the main street. The perimeter Summit I'm talking about in Lower Road. And Summit Street is got well lit, unless the light bulb burns out, space-wise. But Shore Forest Drive has not been the case there. From the campground out of town towards Wabic area has seen upgrades in lighting. So there's not very many dark spaces there. But from Minnesota Avenue to the recycling center and outside to the highway, very poor lighting. Very poor lighting. And hopefully you had a chance. And we asked Minnesota Power to put something together, and they've got something together here, and it's almost exactly like it came right off of here onto here. Except that for this $20,000, if that's the cost, estimated cost, as far as on this drawing right here, there's one missing between Minnesota and the campground road. There's a big space between the Minnesota Avenue where the ball field is and the campground road. And there's one pole there in the middle of that black one dot right there that it's just a dead end of power line, dead end. It could use an arm like this with a light on it. And hopefully that's all that's needed there. Addition to this drawing down below. It's got the placements of about 6 new ones, or 7 new poles down here. And a couple, and this one arm, or if needed, I'm just saying another pole may be needed there. I don't know why that didn't put one in the first place there. You know, just a light. So I would say, I would recommend, I'm hoping council will go ahead and, we took care of a lot of things needed things last council meeting. This is needed with that addition of that one extra light or pole that needs to be done right there. And that corridor will be well lit once the light bulbs burn out on New York Avenue and Virginia Avenue. Once them light bulbs are burnt out and they change to LED, that will be nice and lit, that whole thing right there. You know, I hope that we go ahead and okay that with that addition. And then one other addition is my lighting for the rest of the year done, except for up to the holiday. We got that. It's up on Summit Street. Years ago, so I don't know why they did Summit Street here in town. And you leave a pole like this here. And it's a 100-year-old pole. It's no good. It's no good to even straighten it up. And I like to have that pole placed. Everybody knows where that road goes up between the two properties up there. I think at some point in time, we're gonna need that road. So not right now yet, but I'd like to have that, fix that pole, replace that pole and put it over closer to that where we're gonna need it to go up through the property. I think that's gonna happen next 4 years. I'm planning on proposing at some point in time, if we can get commercial properties into the main street here, the Public Works Department would be a good area for the Public Works Department to move up in that rocky area and get them out of this commercial area, which is prime property down here. And will be prime property in the next few years, I believe, if things go right. Well, anyway, so I'd like to do this. So I'm saying I recommend the council go up to 25 or 30,000 with that addition and or less. It could be less, right, Jim? Could be less.
Yes, this is the 20,000 reference is still the rough estimate. We did not get an update. So just so the council's aware.
So we have a rough estimate to do these, plus that one, and if it needs a pole or a light, and an additional one on Summit. I think we're good. And all the other stuff that we've done already. People that do the walking are gonna be very, very happy and safe. That's my recommendation. Any discussion before the vote? Go ahead.
Is there a light on the top of that meeting pole up on
Yeah.
Summit? Will say a new pole got put in place, is that gonna need to be replaced when the road goes in, when you redo the road?
No, I'd like to have it replaced, have Jim have it placed and John where it would be near that road. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's near that road right now. Check out the stakes, you know.
I guess my thought or my question is, would that be prudent to do at the same time?
Yes.
While things are being dug up. So if you're gonna, in 2 years, you're gonna propose that road, or next year, you're gonna propose that road, would that be the right time to do that pole?
I say, put the pole in now. Because that might never happen.
It might not, but then if you put the road in, the pole might come down.
We know where the road's gonna be, plus the boulevard, plus the sidewalk, and then you can place the pole right. Not gonna put it in the road. He knows, find out where the road's gonna be and then go from there. So, you can do that now. you know, an engineer could do that now.
I know, it's just that if things are gonna be dug up to put a road in. that might
Well,
be the time.
again, this is, it's either gonna be for cemetery someday, like we've been talking about, or for something else, public works garage. But that's still not even close to, serious consideration right now, okay? Serious consideration now is to fix this leaning pole, which is 100 years old, it's still, but let's don't do it, if we're gonna do it, let's do it right. And not 3 years from now, It's like, whatever, you know, I'm happy with the bottom part, everything right, but this is, I mean, we've got some, it doesn't show, it shows to me that city doesn't care. If I'm living up there and I got fancy homes up there, and city doesn't care, it's not and when you did the work up there in the first place and you just skipped over it and didn't fix it at that time, didn't care again. I mean, you know, let it fall down, then we'll fix it, yeah. So I'm asking to do all of this here, plus that one down that should be added to the lower road, plus the one on Summit, or something close to that. And I think a rough estimate of $30,000 or less could handle all of that. I'm sure it's gonna be a lot less. I bet you it all gets done for 20. Because the biggest thing down here, them four by the campground, is the boring underneath the Sherwood Forest Drive of cable that has to be bored and then strung along the baseball field ditch there to put those lights in. That's the biggest expense right there. There's no power lines down there. They gotta be boarded, come from the campground underneath the road, not overhead, and then along the ditch by the ball field. That's the big expense there, that boring. You know, to do a nice clean job.
Mayor, I guess
Councilor Skinsich,
I'll make that motion to move forward with the lights on Sherwood Forest Drive, with the addition of that extra light that you were speaking of between Minnesota and Sherwood Forest. And I've seen that light pole up on Summit Street, and it is leaning really bad. And I guess I'd like to include that in my motion to have that replaced and put it in the vicinity, I guess, of where this street may go at some point.
motion by Councilor Skinsich, all support. First the discussion. Any more discussion? Councilor Pulis.
I would like to make a motion for us to approve the 20,000 and hold off on the light until, like you said, till we do the road or something.
I got one motion on the floor right now. That's got a up or down vote on that one. No,
Support the original motion with the expectation that the light bulb's gonna be put where it doesn't need to get rearranged when it gets dug up next time.
okay, I was supporting, but Councilor Heitzman can support, okay? Jim? I'll take back my support. Councilor Heitzman will be on record for supporting.
Yes.
Okay?
I didn't realize you had support.
Yeah. I said support, so I can support things and I can make motions, but I have to, I have to hand the gavel over to Jeremy as I go over, so.
Mayor, if I just for
Yeah.
clarification, is there a not to exceed dollar amount, or is this for the 20,000, this motion?
I guess not to exceed 30,000. We'll leave it at that.
That's okay with you on your second? Okay, that's included in the motion, not, and okay by the second. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye, pose say nay. Malcolm, you said aye? Malcolm, you said aye? Motion carries 4-1. Counselor Pull is voting no. So therefore, no need for that other motion then, Joan. Thank you. Okay. Gas monitor, what's that?
Mayor, this is for the wastewater treatment plant. It's gas monitor. Tara is requesting this for the operators down there. Once again, I don't think Sam's on yet to speak about this. So what I believe this is the monitor that they clip on as they go into different areas to test, as I'm reading the description, what it tests for, and obviously it would alarm if it's in unsafe condition that they're going into. That's the best I can decipher for what this gas monitor does.
It's come from, yes.
Did we not already approve this purchase for Sam 3 months ago when we were discussing putting his head in a manhole sniffing for fuel oil?
Nope, that was a different, that was a different monitor.
Okay.
This one here is, like I said, I believe they clip this on as they're going into different areas in the plant. This is not for the sticking their head in the manhole and seeing what's in there, so.
This is when they walk around the sewer plant, so they gotta know their level of whatever gas from the fumes in there.
More of it's a personal
The safety.
alarm for themselves.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't know what that was at first. Okay.
Okay, I think we should go ahead and do it, right?
I'll move.
I'll support.
Motion by Counselor Pulis, supported by Counselor Heitzman, to approve the purchase of these gas monitors from Utility Logic is the name of the company, right? For $7,104.65 for the wastewater treatment plant. Safety for the employees on there. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Who's that? Okay, Ty. Ty, you're up.
Can you hear me, Mayor Council?
Yes.
All right, I'm just going to swing over there. I'll walk in and talk.
Seems like this will take you more time.
Okay.
Welcome. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. Sorry I was late. We had 12 kids fighting down at the beach. I think what I'll report on is the Orbegon Beach. I kind of jinxed myself last Friday when I talked to Mr. Paulson about, it hasn't been too bad of a year. We've been down there probably 30 times or since Saturday. It is, for lack of a better term, it is out of control. They made a couple of arrests over the weekend. We've had some thefts again. Assaults are up. And we seem like we're dealing with a lot of that 12 to 15-year-old group, and with assaults and fights and other issues. Before I came up, I counted 178 people down there right now, and that was at about 6:30 tonight, dealing with the call. So it's busy. There's more problems. I took names and numbers of about 14 witnesses, and not one of them was from the city of Gilbert. So they're coming from out of the area and not from our town. So I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. I really don't. I don't have the personnel to sit down there and babysit all day long, but I foresee as long as these temperatures stay warm, we're going to have a lot of issues down there again. And we're going to do a couple of things, try a couple of things to try to cut the thefts down. But it's just a melting pot of people right now, and there's some issues. So I'll keep you up to date with what goes on down there. But it's I know I think we wrote a dozen or so cliff jumping tickets over the weekend, and the officers really did not go out there just because of the heat. Walk back there and try to deal with how many kids are back there. They tried a couple things by putting up some police line tape that actually worked for about 2 or 3 hours till the tape got torn down, and then it was over 70 people back there after the tape got torn down. So I'm not sure how and again, Hermantown, Cloquet, Carlton, that's where all these people were from. So it's going to be an issue again this summer, and I don't know what the answer is. I really don't.
You might think I'm crazy, but other mayors in other towns for different types of emergencies, and then I don't know if you want to call this an emergency, has written letters to the governor asking for National Guard help on different things, riots and whatever. Being short-staffed, like you mentioned to us, you're short-staffed and you're up down there constantly. Would that consider as emergency where we can get National Guard help of a couple, 4 maybe, or 2 presence down there all summer? I mean, is there something that crazy about that thought or what?
I don't think they'll give you any National Guard members. I don't foresee that. I can't justify paying one of my officers, I think the overtime rate's $44 an hour, to sit down and babysit. I just don't think we can afford that. Even if we write several tickets to try to recoup some of those costs, just to make it economical for us, I just don't know that I'll be able to fill the shifts anyways. And I don't know if we hire somebody for $15 or $17 an hour to sit down there. I don't know whether it's a CSO or a monitor. It's frustrating because we just dealt with, there was a good 20 kids involved in this incident, and they all ranged from the age of 13 to 14 and not one parent present. So that's the other issue we're dealing with. So we sure don't want to become a babysitting service down there, but it was nuts tonight. And if there's a couple of people from Gilbert here, and they'll tell you what the scene looked like. It was.
What about deputizing citizens patrol, like citizens?
Well, people want to do it. The problem is when it's 87 degrees out and you're standing out in the sun, it seems like a good idea until you're an hour in and you're sweating and overheating. So I don't know if people are going to want to volunteer to deal with it, because I'm not going to lie to you. Put this way, these people haven't been the most respectful either. So if they're not respecting us and we have the powers of arrest, I don't know how well they're going to respect a normal citizen.
I am trying to find a way here to help you.
I know, and I that's probably, I don't have the answer either. I just having an officer sit down there the whole time, they'll take care of the problem, but we cannot afford that. No way, no how. And I don't know what my officers want to sit down there. They're not.
I guess what you're saying is internally, or add 2 more, like the part-time public works people, add a couple part-time patrolmen to just do that.
We could look at that, but then again, it comes down to money. And one of the issues too is now we've had very few calls at the cliffs. Everything's at the beach, either in the parking lot, that's where the thefts are. People are taking people's keys, running up there, hitting the panic button. When the horn goes off, oh, it's that car. They go in, they take everything out of it, take off. And people need to be a little more responsible with their keys and everything else. But when they're in the water swimming, you can't take your keys with you. So we're having the thefts up on the higher end, and we're going to work on a little product this week, and with our former interns going to come in and donate some time. And then the incidents down at the beach. I mean, today was a racial incident. So, and it got very heated. So.
What if, like in the post office, they have a bunch of those cabinets with the keys in it? If we had over by the change room, a bunch of those lockers like that, where you could lock your belongings in there and take the key with you, and instead of having in your car or somewhere. Would that be something to look at?
You can look at stuff like that to help the people down there. I guess what's been a little more frustrating for me is that 173 people on this afternoon or whatever it was, you get to that point where they're not from our town. It's getting really frustrating dealing with all these people. It's our problem. They come to this town, they cause problems. And we were writing some tickets for disorderly conduct, and we've made an arrest for an assault over the weekend. We responded this weekend to 48 calls. And of the 48 calls, I want to say 13 of them were directly beach related. So it's taking some of our resources away.
City Attorney, you have any suggestions for us? Just keep it, carry on.
Mayor, it becomes an increasing problem, and as Chief Teacher is indicating, it becomes a question of resources and what resources the city has to allocate down there. And at the end of the day, and nobody ever likes to hear this, but at the end of the day, if it's something that becomes so unmanageable and the city's on notice that there's all kinds of problems and concerns down there.
But that might deter a lot of people from coming again too, when they hear it's, hey, you're gonna get this happened to you or this happened to you. It might stop some people from coming. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Yeah, and one of the discussions we had this afternoon, or just before I came, I was talking to the officer that responded down the beach with me. I said, the fact of, okay, we're gonna write tickets. Every time we respond on there's a fight, we're gonna write for disorderly conduct. And the problem is we're looking at where these people are from, and it's not the same people. Usually you write a ticket because you dealt with this person for the second or third time. It's different people. It's just this constant rotation of people coming through. It's amazing what Facebook has done with the advertising. I said, you go down and run a license plates down, it's Duluth, Superior, you're looking at Carleton, Cloquet, Hermantown. And it's a different group every time. And I'm trying to get to the point where we just deal with zero tolerance, and just every time we get a call there, we just write for disorderly conduct. Problem is, then he's stuck prosecuting them, and we want to make sure that we give him good cases and not just every time we go down there. So it's a tough balance. And the problem is this, I'm going to complain about this because when it's 90 degrees out, the place is busy. When it's raining, we're never down there. When it's cold, we're never down there. It's just these 90-degree days, people got a place to go. When you think of it, other than the E Lake Beach, this is probably the most popular beach in the range right now. It really is.
Councilor Poulos.
Ty, do you think it'd be feasible or make any sense to put a certain time limit on the beach? Like when you can be down there, when you're not,
Well, yeah, we can look at time limits. We do have a 10 o'clock, and we do boot people out of there after 10 o'clock at night. The problem is, most of the calls are between noon and 6, and that's kind of the big time for the beachgoers. It's hot, it's warm, people are down there, and and we used to have lifeguards down there. Things have changed. I got to tell you, I was disrespected by 3 or 4 kids, today. 12-year-olds basically told me to pound sand, and 20 years ago, that wouldn't have happened. And you put 16-year-old lifeguards down there, they're going to get eaten alive. So I just don't know what the answer is. Just
I don't agree. I don't think the lifeguards is the answer.
No, I don't think so either.
But I think 2 patrolmen down there all the time, patrol cadets that have some kind of authority, and if they can do the job, but then there's the cost involved with that.
Yep.
But then again, is the cost involved worth what else could happen on other liabilities that the city might have to incur if we are not making a safe place to swim?
Yeah.
Okay? So I think we have no choice but to look at this square in the eye. Do we have a problem down there? We need more law enforcement down there, be it overtime, be it for the guys that are overtime on their days off, and eat the cost, or get some part-time down there if the union's okay with it. Or it's going to incur a cost to the city, and we'll probably have to budget that in the future. But if we don't do nothing about it, everybody else down there going to be safe with all this stuff he's talking about happening down there? We have a responsibility to make everybody safe down there. And that's our responsibility if we're going to have that open, or else you got to gate it off and close it off. So that's our options. How's it pull us?
Like you said, if it doesn't stop, it's gonna have to be closed down. Is that an option we look at to, if we put out the warning that if this stuff continues, we have no choice but to close it?
Yeah, and then the locals are gonna say, like he's just saying, well, you can't divide it up, only locals allowed and
No, nobody.
people out of town and it's not happening by the locals, right?
Generally not, no, generally not, no. I mean, my kids aren't allowed down there, so.
I guess correct me wrong, the only thing is to bite the bullet, it's gonna be a cost to get not one officer by himself, no lifeguards for sure can handle this. This breaking of the law down there, they can help people that are drowning, but they can't help people that are breaking the laws down here. And we need, there's 2 officers or 2 cadets, so what, somebody with authority and capable of what experienced patrolmen are doing, you know? And instead of calling a squad, we need you down here. If you're gonna have to call all the time, well, don't have nobody down there. They have to handle it right there on the spot. And that's gonna be an expense, but only from what? From June to what? October? I mean,
no.
August,
August,
September?
and you can take half that time out because if it's 75 or colder, you just don't have the people down. It's
August, from June 1st to September 1st? Right? 3 months, 90
Yeah,
days?
and you don't need them every day. And I don't know if the guys want to work that much overtime, but I think if we get the real hot days, if I put somebody extra out, it's just whenever, it's like when there's more than 100 people down there is when we have the issues. And it's above 80 degrees.
But you need a presence down there.
We do, yep. And us just swinging down for 5 or 10 minutes. It's funny because you pull on and you got all the kids, they'll see it, and they're all on their phones, and you got kids running through the woods, all the cliffs. And this last weekend, it wasn't so much the cliffs as it was the actual beach area. So a presence is important, but we have 20 miles of jurisdiction right now. From one end of our jurisdiction to the other, north side of Biwabik, it's 20 miles. So we're not always readily right there. So I just want to throw it out there that it's getting more and more popular, and it's becoming a little bit of a headache for us. So
You and Jim work something out to what the cost would be for the next meeting. Overtime, what would it cost for presence of 2? How
I
many
think
days
just
a week?
one officer would be enough. I don't think we need to put 2. I think one officer would be enough, but I'll do some comparisons. The other option is Administrator Paulson could be put down with his desk during business hours, 8 to 4:30. And he would be able to cover that if we get Wi-Fi. I'm kidding, but.
But, I mean, get us something for us to deliver it.
Yeah, we'll come up with some numbers and come up with some figures, and I'll look at last year's weather stuff and see how many days we're above 80 degrees and be able to kind of give an estimate how many days we're looking at and then see what the guys would want to do or whatever. So, and I think you're right. If we can look at part-time officers in the future, by the time we get anybody hired, we're out of that season. So, and by the time we get things in place, we'll be at the end of the season and nothing's going to, but it is. And I really invite you to take a ride down. If you take a ride down at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you'd be amazed on an 85-degree day. It is unbelievable.
Just happens on hot days?
Just hot days. Yep. We figured anything above 80, 85, it's just rocking down there. Yep. Under 80, you don't get the people.
Well, please get something for us so we can hopefully help. I know we're probably gonna dig a hole on something, but we have a responsibility because you're doing the job, and you can't do it. You're taxed out already on that. No.
Yep. In the last 15 years, it used to be we were out at Sparta 3 times more than we were out at Orbegon, and now we're never out at Sparta. We're always at Orbegon.
You can't be down there, and if something happens up here, then what?
Yeah. Well, we will respond, and we try to prioritize. It's not, like I said, it's just those hot days.
Here's the other issue, like Ty brought up. What do you do about the respect factor? I mean, not like you can do anything, but
No, it is what it is.
you got disrespected down there by kids.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, I could show you some pretty good body cam video just from tonight, so.
I don't know what you can do. Is there a law against that?
That's not your problem to deal with, that's ours. That's just a sign of the times, so. A lot of people are still good.
Well, anyway.
I'll keep you informed.
Hopefully you can weather out the next 2 weeks and
Yeah,
bring us
well,
something, okay?
Yeah, it looks like the 90s tomorrow, so it might be busy, but we'll look,
Well, thanks for bringing that to our attention. Anyway,
no, I'll use my discretion and see whether I could call the night shift in a little bit early. And I'm going to look at all the calls and see what times most of the calls are at. And I'm going to guess it's between probably 1:30, 2 o'clock to that 5:30 range is probably when most of our problems are. So we can get it narrowed down to when our problems are at, then we'll go from there. So, but yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how popular it is down there. So.
okay, anything else?
Nope, everything else is agenda, I believe.
Okay, who's with the first responders? Is that you? Ty?
No, that would be, I believe it'd be Pete Makowski.
Okay, Pete.
Hi there. I'm here.
Okay, well, we'll take the first responder first. Go ahead, Pete.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'll keep this short and brief. I'm recommending that the city hire Rusty Rask as a first responder. He's completed all his training. He's really eager to go and fired up about it. And he's passed, he's certified to be a first responder, and he's passed the background. So my recommendation, sweet and short, is asking the council to approve his hiring.
Yeah, I'm very open to that. And maybe the first responders can help with the police department down there. So, okay, just a thought. Everybody okay with a recommendation by Peter Mack, our number one first responder, to approve the hiring of Russell Rask as the first responder for the city of Gilbert?
Motion for that.
I'll second.
Moved by Councilor Skinsich, supported by Councilor Leone to hire Russell Rask as Gilbert first responder, as recommended by number one first responder Peter Mack. Golden Geezer. Any more discussion? Councilor Polis.
How many first responders do we have right now?
We currently have 5. Unfortunately, one of the individuals hired ended up with a job change, and I'm going to have to just talk with him and see what his future plans are. So right now we have 3 active first responders. This would be our 4th, and our 5th one. I have to have a discussion with him and see what his plans are. The council hired him, and a week later he was offered a different job. So
Is that the one we hired last year then, Jesse?
yes.
That's all I wanted to know.
All right, any more discussion?
Yeah, what do you really know about this Mr. Rask kid? I can tell you a lot. He's a great guy. He's very dedicated to what he does, and he'll be a welcome addition to your team, Pete. Congratulations.
Thank you, Councilor Heitzman. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, Mayor Oberstar and members of the council.
Yeah, thank you for all your work.
Any other questions before I leave?
Keep on doing the good work.
Just a nod of acknowledgement for your performance at Saturday morning's incident. Your team did well.
Very good. Thank you, Councilor Heitzman. All right, now the printer, city clerk.
Yeah, this we're looking at purchasing a printer. The printer currently in use for badges and access cards and identification cards has reached failing stage. Quote for the replacement printer is in the amount of $1,713.61. We'd like to split this cost 50-50 between the police department and city hall budgets, as it's an integral part of the city department. It's also an integral part of the police department and with the use. And Ty can speak more specifics on what to use the printer for. Council has questions.
Yeah, this will replace the old printer that we were able to get donated 10 years ago from the hospital. So it lasts a lot longer than we anticipated. Obviously, with some of the fraud stuff that we've dealt with about the meter changes and stuff, I think it's more important now that even our city employees, which have been very good about wearing them when they go door to door for shutoffs or whatever else, have it to identify them as city employees. Some of the funny services we do, we also assist. We've been doing IDs for the Hibbing Police Department and Chisholm Police Department. In exchange, they usually purchase, I think Hibbing PD bought us 300 of those cards. So we've been using those cards and in cartridge from them. So we were kind of offsetting some of the costs, the continual costs, by helping a couple other agencies out. And the key cards are also the ones that operate the doors and stuff too. So we've kind of come to that point where I would hope that this printer will get us another 15, 20 years. And I think every city department has them issued, so.
Okay, I recommend the council go ahead and approve the purchase to advantage of the printer for use between the city hall and police department for $1,713.61.
I'll move.
Moved by Councilor Pulis, supported by Councilor Heitzman. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Basketball equipment purchase, this has been on the table, I think, all last summer. And here we are doing it now, finally.
I'll move.
Moved by Councilor Pulis, supported by Councilor Skinsich to approve the purchase of 2 basketball backboards with, hopefully including the basketball hoops, and installed at Kennedy Park at a cost of $1,299.98 to who? Well, who are we buying it from?
BSN Sports.
Backboard with goal. There you go.
Correct.
Okay. And boom, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Outside liquor permits. And included in this here, we're including the dugout bar, our last item on our additions to agenda. We don't have to take them, we take them all at the same time. The downtown bar, Devo's Sandbar, Alibi, and Dugout Bar. Moved by Councilor Pulis, supported by Councilor Heitzman, correct?
Yep.
All 4 of those bars, are there any more? Again, I think I mentioned last week, the VFW approached me, one of the members over there anyway. So Sandra, you're in charge of this. That's all 4 bars? 4 bars only? Okay. So we're authorizing application to conduct liquor sales outside on these premises in the dates and times listed on their application. Some are for July 2nd, some are for July 3rd, and some are for both. Right? And all the paperwork's fine. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
And Mayor, on that, so the council's aware, some clarifications here. Downtown bar, times of day to serve outside, we will, they just listed open to close. We will list their times on there. And also, we will clarify with the dugout, their times of day to serve, 6 PM to 12 PM, which is actually noon. I believe they meant to put 12 AM. So we will clarify that with them also.
Okay. All right. Next, we have a big one, councilors. Very big one. And a big, big deal. Another big deal. And that is motion to go ahead with the resolution here, which I need to vote prior to the reading of this resolution, approving Gilbert to go ahead and pursue bonding money for a new water plant in the amount of, where's the amount here?
We don't know the amount yet.
We don't know the amount here, but Gilbert, go ahead and request bonding money for probably acceptance or approval in the year 2024, somewhere in there.
Correct. This is a year or two in the future. Yes.
Not for the next year or two, but it's starting now, 2021, and we probably won't get any word of approval. We'll be putting Gilbert on the list today for a thing that takes about a 3-year cycle, right? And once we get the approval of that, and we can further figure out the details.
I'll move.
Moved by Councilor Skinsich, supported by Councilor Heitzman, to approve resolution 2021-14, authorizing the city administrator to file application with the Minnesota Management and Budget Office for the purpose of a new water plant and water system improvements. Any more discussion? Councilor Skinsich, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilor Heitzman. Councilor Leone.
Aye.
Councilor Pulis.
Aye.
Mayor Overster, aye. Motion carries 5-0. Next, I'll read this resolution for the public. Again, resolution number 2021-14, authorizing the city administrator to file an application with the Minnesota Management and Budget Office for the purpose of a new water plant and water system improvements. Whereas the Minnesota Management and Budget Office has released application instructions for local governments and political subdivisions for 2022 capital budget requests, and whereas the city of Gilbert has a need for and intends to significantly improve its public water facility and water system improvements in the community, and whereas all requests must be made to the Minnesota Management and Budget Office by June 18, 2021, and whereas the city of Gilbert has identified this project as its #1 priority, now therefore be it resolved, the city administrator, through the actions of the mayor and the city council, is hereby authorized to execute and file an application on behalf of the city of Gilbert with the Minnesota Management and Budget Office for the project described above. Moved by Councilor Skinsich, supported by Councilor Leone, was it again? Right? Councilor Heitzman. Motion by Councilor Skinsich, supported by Councilor Heitzman, that the foregoing resolution be adopted. Voting aye, Councilor Skinsich, Councilor Heitzman, Councilor Leone, Councilor Pulis, Mayor Oberstar. Voting no, none. Resolution adopted this 8th day of June. Done. I'll just add on to this. There's been many years of surveys for Gilbert's water supply on how to go between Gilbert and Evelyn, Gilbert and Virginia, on which is the best way to go for Gilbert. Partner up with one of the other communities or go it alone. And the survey came back through SEH. It was beneficial for Gilbert to build their own water plant. And this is why we're approved this resolution tonight. But there was many years of surveys done by SEH. And another fact I should mention that we are almost up to the last, since 2019, up to almost close to $300,000 in improvements of just band-aiding the water plant. And this money, if we get any from this bond here, we will not see, I don't think it was told to me, at least 2024. So we got a couple more years of band-aiding this thing, and hopefully maybe not, you know. So we are in great need. It's 118 years old. Needs work, and the survey that took many years to complete and looked at all avenues, and recommendation was to go with a new water plant. That should take care of any questions folks might have. All right, what do we got now? Miscellaneous, right? Miscellaneous announcement, food shelf building, fire training.
Yes, Mayor, and Fire Chief is going to be joining us today, but he wasn't able to make it. So with the food shelf building slated to be torn down, the question was posed. We are using the building for training now. PD's use it for some training. Fire departments use it for some training. The Gilbert Fire Department would like it to use it for what was described to me as some intensive training, which, since the building is slated to come down, may result in holes being cut in the walls and maybe the roof. And if they do that, of course, they would patch it up to the point where rodents or whatnot aren't getting in it. So, but I thought it was a great idea. The building is slated to come down. I think it's a great opportunity that doesn't present itself every day. And wanted the council to be aware that we were having these discussions, and you'll get any feedback from the council if that you guys may have.
We don't have to authorize that.
Correct. It doesn't have to be authorized. Right? I should say, as a city administrator, I have authorized that training on that building that's coming down anyway.
There was a training a while back. Somebody called me up and saw smoke coming from that area and thought it was already burning down and thought we were getting a shortcut and burn it down versus take it down.
Was it a former fire chief that called that in?
No. So maybe we just let it go a little bit more. I don't know. It's coming down, gentlemen. Council, it is coming down. I think this summer it'll be down.
I was just going to ask that. Is there any idea of when that building might be coming down?
Just after July 1st.
After July 1st. It's
just after the 1st.
We're going to have to, as a council, pass another resolution for that, like we did, because that was 2020, and now it's 2021. Their fiscal year is July 1st. So we're going to have to redo it again.
Right.
Asking, and then we're up there. I mean, we have to redo our resolution to take it down after July.
Mark and I were at the last training that we had over there, and it's a tri-department training. Councilor Heitzman, I'm sorry. Fire Department and Evelyn Fire Department, Gilbert Fire Department, and I believe there some by Wabick Township maybe there. It's been pretty open. So all departments around the area are coming for this. That the last one you had heard there was smoke coming out of the building. They had a smoke machine in there, and I didn't actually go in this one, but they said that you could hardly see your face in front of your mask, which is hard to replicate. So it's a great spot for that because that's what it's like inside a burning structure. So it's very, very valuable training and great opportunity for departments to take advantage of it. So
I agree, it's valuable training, and I think it's a best opportunity you're not under any pressure of finding somebody to save in there. You're pumped up and you gotta run, and you got a lot of time to take and train and take it all in. You know what I mean? You don't have to hurry up and I'm glad you're taking other departments in and you're all working together. Take the opportunity to make it do worthy. Very good. I agree with you on that. So we don't have to take no action on it, but we're just giving an FYI to the public that there will be a fire training building, and it'll not be a complete fire, but just a training session. And yes, the building will be coming down in the near future.
FYI, it's typically the fourth Wednesday of the month that the large group training happens. There may be smaller group trainings throughout the month, but the bigger training is the fourth Wednesday.
Okay, next on miscellaneous, we have to make the announcement that our COVID vaccine clinic here at the Gilbert City Hall will be held at here at 16 North Broadway, Gilbert, Thursday, June 17th, between 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Pfizer and Johnson vaccines will be available. Johnson & Johnson, 1 dose is for anyone 18 plus. The Pfizer is for anyone 12 plus. 2-dose vaccine. The second dose will be scheduled for 3 weeks later. Individuals who are 12 to 17 years old will need to be accompanied by a parent or be living independently and emancipated from their parents. Appointments recommended, but we will accommodate walk-ins as we are able. Register here at this link, and it's posted outside. prepod.health.state.minnesota.us appointments. We'll put this on our website, right, Jim, or on the board outside?
Yes, we put it on in both locations the last time we had this.
Vaccine is offered at no cost, no need for insurance. All information provided is confidential, and I hope those who are not vaccinated take this seriously and get her done.
Yeah, the county did a nice job 10 days ago when they did this, so this is their 3-week follow-up from that one. So
I had the Pfizer done March 18th. And I only had one bad reaction 2 days later, 48 hours later with a high fever. Went through 2 shirts. It was like I was in a swimming pool. And that was all. That was only my reaction. I mean, I slept right through it, but I woke up one time and I had to change this. So it was wringing wet. And woke up for the last time, I was wringing wet again. But I didn't feel anything. I was shivering before I went to bed. That was my reaction. I've seen and heard because I had to put somebody in ER a week later on the Moderna vaccine, a week later, as late as a week later in ER. And there was no other explanation for what he was going through other than a reaction to the shot. But then it went away and was fine. All right, no other business? Again, we're almost right at the same time last 2 weeks ago, 8:08. Anyone want to move to adjourn?
Second.
Moved by Counselor Heisman, supported by Counselor Pulis to adjourn 8:08. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you and good night.
If anyone in the history's ever said nay to that.